Well, if you don't know how to write a love letter because you've only ever texted in emojis or you've accidentally slept with your supposed dead brother's girlfriend, do we have the show for you. It's going to be The Royals After Show Season 3, Episode 3. There's the rub right here on AfterBuzz TV. Don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Had to go with our old favorite. I can never think of anything creative to start the show with.
I know. This is perfect, though.
So perfect. Although, we do know someone who will be royal, or supposedly.
Oh.
Liam.
Oh. Yes,
because he got some good paternity test results.
They're legit.
We'll discuss all that tonight. Hi, guys. It's Megan Stecher back here with you again. I'm joined by
Fern, Ronay here. So happy to be back.
Yay! So we're missing Annabelle and Allie. So the holidays are a real tough time to get everybody in here in the studio. Everybody's flying out from LA and dispersing back to where they're from. So
even the Royals is off next week.
Exactly. Yeah. So we will look forward to seeing everyone back in the new year. How exciting!
Yeah.
But for one last very teaseful. Well, we were discussing right before we started that it was a great episode and that you get given so much information, which is so rare.
Yes.
So those are one of the really fun episodes because usually everything is such a tease. To get an episode with so much information, it's like it feels so satisfying.
So satisfying. Especially Robert and Catherine's relationship. I was like, what is the nature of it? Did the public know about it? I had so many questions and they all got answered.
Agreed. This reminded me of that one really special episode from last season when we found out all about the murder and the other family and the competition between the girls and, grandma off to the other girl. That was a great one. Loving where we're at this season. So we start out with a lot of good information in, it's kind of a flashback. It also may be what Liam is dreaming about. So the way that both brothers met this lovely bartender, Catherine, is that Robert was giving a speech at the pub she works at and her father owns, I guess, for its anniversary and gives them some kind of plaque. And Liam's over flirting with her before Robert even comes over to flirt with her.
Right.
But we get to see for the first time, I don't think we've ever been exposed to their relationship together. I don't think we've ever had any kind of...
I loved their banter, and they seem to really love each other, and they're obviously best friends and brothers, but I'm glad that we saw that it wasn't like Robert and Catherine were together and Liam met Catherine through him and he is swooping in, even though he believes his brother's dead. But I'm glad that we saw that they both had an equal opportunity and Robert was kind of the one that swooped in, which makes it a little better.
I was strange for me to see how much of he looks so much older than Liam, even though when he's alone in his own screenshots, to me, he doesn't look that much older. But when you have them side by side, he seems to have such a royal presence. And oh yeah, no way, how could Liam ever become the king? Robert really has that presence.
He does.
And he treats him like such a little brother. And I think there's a little friction between them in that aspect.
Yes.
And maybe Liam doesn't voice it, but we can see it.
Right. You can tell they love each other, but I think Robert maybe takes himself a little too seriously and takes his role a little too seriously. And I wonder if we're gonna get to know him and love him and be heartbroken for him and Liam, or if we're going to get to know him and be rooting for Liam.
Right. I'm wondering if he's really takes after King Simon type person.
Yeah, who was lovely.
Yeah.
But he was serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a perfect king, which is hard to come by.
Yeah. He was a great actor.
Oh,
they should have him back in dreams.
Oh, I agree. That would be great. So that was a great amount of information for us to kick it off with. And Eleanor is finding it hard to write a love letter back to Jasper after receiving a really lovely one. So Sarah Alice clues her in that if she were a real princess, she would have the royal scrivener write it for her. And I don't know, maybe she doesn't have one because she does go seek Mr. Hill's help in this.
Yes.
And he agrees after listening to a hilarious string of emoji texts back and forth between her. Were you dying? I thought this was so funny.
No, it was so cute. And I felt so uncomfortable for him. He was like, what?
When the phone is reading the emoji texts out loud for her, I was like, that's a very princess thing to do. She didn't even show him the phone. She didn't bother to read them herself. She's like, read my texts out loud, and has the phone do it for her. And then you're hearing like eggplant and
banana, right?
Yeah, stick your banana in my honey pot. I was like, oh, this is so...
I love Sarah Alice. I love how unimpressed she is with everything. Like, you don't have this, you don't have that. You're not a real princess. I love it.
I'm reminded of how they're still leaving Cyrus's daughters from the first 2 seasons out of this completely. Like, I'm wondering if we're just like writing them off, forgotten about them.
Yeah, maybe they're like on a mission somewhere. That's what they'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no explanation.
Right.
It's curious.
Because I feel like they're giving Sarah Alice the role of like cute comedy and kind of weaving events together in the palace, and you know, having people meet up physically, having to do a lot with Sarah Alice.
Yes, you're right.
Which I kind of thought was the role Cyrus's daughters played in the past a little bit.
They were a little caricature-y and a little. I love Sarah Alice doing the role. She's cute. It's funny. It makes sense because her father's Mr. Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Because he's such a good guy.
Oh, I love him. I think he's so handsome.
Isn't he?
He is
Every
so
time
handsome.
He has like a really great solo on camera shot. Sorry, I'm like fixing my hair and not talking into the microphone properly. His eyes pop to me so much. Just
adorable.
like the tone of his skin and the color of his hair, and I'm like, look at those eyes. We've got the hots
cute
for
guy.
James
We gotta get him
Hill.
in here.
Also, in the same morning that all of this is going on, the queen is ill. So her Lord Chamberlain comes in to let her know she's got a busy day and and he sees that she's not quite well and tucks her into bed. She gets hooked on this new reality show, or maybe it's not new, but she gets hooked on watching a reality show about a royal. How fitting. It's starring the Prince of Liechtenstein, which I love how they always, everything's Liechtenstein, always in this show. Like if they're talking about another royal family, it's like Liechtenstein. But didn't you think this was such a fun opportunity they took to make fun of themselves?
Yes, I thought it was so perfectly played in that it was her watching that, you know, it was metaphorical, like her watching the spoiled royal, and she so identified with him and defended him, and it was perfectly played. I loved it, and we can all relate to being hooked on reality shows as we've hosted many housewives panels.
So I thought it was really sweet toward the end of the episode where her Lord Chamberlain said, you know, this is what she said, I have forgotten all about today, and he said, well, that's what people get so invested in this stuff. And
we love our stories.
You just try to forget about your troubles for the day.
Nothing wrong with it.
For an hour. Give a girl an hour. And you were mentioning to me before we started, that is Queen Helena in real life. That is her real life son.
Yes.
Do you know how old he is or what his name is?
I think he's like 13 or 14. There's an article in the Daily Mail. I'll tweet it. I think he's 13 or 14. His name's Damien Hurley, and he's adorable. And she was so proud of him. She thought he did such a great job.
He did.
He really did.
He's very good looking.
Yeah,
extremely good looking. That's all I kept thinking about when they would play the little faux scenes from the reality
and then
show.
Someone mentioned it's a little curious that he looks like her. You know, he resembles her. He's her son. So maybe she had an affair with a Liechtenstein years ago, and that's really her. We'll find out that's her son or something. I don't know in the future.
Oh my God, I hope not. I hope not. Catherine wakes up in the morning. This is like in the beginning, we're skipping all over everywhere.
It's okay.
Every episode, we're skipping everywhere.
Yeah, it's so hard
to
track.
Also the same morning, a little while after Liam has awoken, she wakes up and she's feeling bad and guilty about her and Liam sleeping together because of Robert. Liam said he's feeling happy. He says it's the first time it wasn't okay being in Robert. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Maybe I made a typo here in my notes. Liam says the first time it wasn't okay being in Robert's shadow was when he met her. Okay.
Okay.
So, I got it now, what I was trying to write down here. So, he was always okay with being in Robert's shadow until he met her.
Yes.
Because he wanted the opportunity to be like, no, I like her. She's my girl. I'm taking the lead on this one.
Yeah, but once again, he got pushed to the side.
He's the sparrow.
Oh, the sparrow.
I thought that was really sad, him explaining how his brother called him that. Because it wasn't like a sweet, doting nickname. It's every time he called him that, it's almost like he's making fun of him.
Right. But I like that Robert's explanation was different. That when he was born, he looked like a bird. He was so small. So that's kind of, shows Robert's heart that he didn't want to embarrass him and be like, because he's the spare. But the truth was, he's the sparrow.
Is the real Prince Harry. They sleep together again that morning, so I guess she wasn't feeling
too bad
awful about it. And then which, you know how it's all exciting when you're first dating someone and you hardly get out of bed and you'll call out of work sick, and she's not calling out of work sick today. She's going in because her father's veterans group or was it her father's veterans group?
Yeah, he hosts it.
He hosts it. Okay, I was going to say, because they're all so much younger, I didn't think it was his group of friends. Right. So they host a veterans group, and they just get together and discuss and talk it out and support each other. So she's going into work for that and tells Liam he should also attend. So I thought that was great because if you think about it, it's like he can listen to them and think about maybe what his brother went through as someone in the armed forces, and also just
that's what I was thinking.
Feel better about himself and his silly little royal problems.
That's what I was thinking too. And when that one said, did we get to that part yet? Where the one is explaining what happened to him and how he lost his arm and how he fought because he was thinking of his girl at home, which is what Robert is doing. So I feel like it had a dual meaning, which Liam doesn't know that, but eventually he will.
Yeah. I didn't think of that. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, you know what I was thinking is when he heard her say in his hallucinations, what do you want? She said that tonight to him in a flashback from before he disappeared when he's telling her he's going to be deploying for a training camp. He's like, well, that's not what I want, to not be able to not date you publicly. And she's like, well, what do you want? So that it was crazy to me that haunted him and reverberated with him. And he liked her enough that he needed to come home for her.
Yes.
So I think that Liam thought that Robert didn't take this relationship that seriously.
Right.
But it appears now that he did.
Yeah. And I think Liam felt that she deserved better than someone who didn't want the public to know about them. And so maybe he loved her a little more than Robert did. He said, if she were my girl, I wouldn't. And Robert takes his role so seriously and explains that he's a royal and she's not. Which I don't think that would bother Liam, but maybe it is because they're placed in the family.
Right.
They have different mindsets.
Wasn't there a lot of this issue with Ophelia and Liam too?
Yeah, she was the head of security's daughter. A little bit, yeah.
And the queen was always trying to scare her off because she wasn't royal and not good enough.
Right. I think she might have been trying to scare her off because do you think she feels a little guilty for her mother's death? There's something there that we don't have the story to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully. Come on, Mark Strong.
So she does go to the pub, and everyone gets very excited and is decorating because Prince Liam has already announced he is coming, unbeknownst to her. So she gets a nice little smile, and her sister is dressed to the nines, like she's going to a nightclub, trying to catch the eye of Liam. As the day goes on, the queen is getting more and more into her reality show, and the staff is joining her and just being glued to the television, as we all get sometimes. It reminded me of like people just watching episode after episode of Kardashians when there's like a all day long marathon on, or sometimes E just plays it all day every day. Like that's their programming. So it just reminded me of that. How you can just sit there and stare for hours.
I love it.
So Liam does come. He gives a speech at the pub and snubs the sister who was trying so hard to impress him. And flirts with Catherine.
Yes.
And he remembers talking to Robert about why Robert can't publicly date her. So I think that was the darts scene.
Yes. And he said, I'll give you my blessing to ask her out if you beat me at the darts.
Yes.
But didn't they both get the, I can't remember. I think they both
But he said, you'll never beat me. And he hit a bullseye right after that.
Yeah.
So we don't know who actually won the game. The queen and her staff get interrupted by Cyrus a little later on into their marathon TV watching. And he wants to know who Violet's lookalike was. I feel like let's go ahead and get this storyline out of the way. So he finds this girl who she apparently works at a fishmonger.
Right.
Interesting choice of job that they wrote for that character. She's a very pretty lady, but he claims like, you don't really look like her, but maybe it could work. He's claiming his, quote, winky doesn't work anymore since Violet has been gone. I thought that this was maybe due to the cancer in previous episodes, but now he's trying to let us know it's because it only will work for Violet because he's still in love and she's
in love. I feel bad for him. He's so awful, but
Fern is so nice, you guys. Fern is so nice. She actually feels bad for Cyrus,
who is so awful, but his like heart is so broken for this one woman. He doesn't care about anybody else in the world, his own daughters, no one. But he's just so in love with her. It breaks my heart.
It's really,
and he's such an awful person. He deserves it. But I can't help but feel. Ugh.
Fern's a really sweet,
heartache is horrible.
Sweet, empathetic person, y'all. She says yes to helping him out with his winky problem by pretending to dress and act like Violet, but she makes him double the money. What a smart girl.
Very. Could you imagine being called into the like?
No. Right. If I worked at a place where I was like gutting fish, as a job. And, which maybe I kind of do. I work at a seafood restaurant as a server. Maybe I am exactly this girl. And then you get called in to meet, like, the king, which, honestly, I also work red carpets and meet A-list people. So it's kind of the same
Huge
thing.
People.
I am this girl.
So what if, like Matthew McConaughey was, people called and were like, we need you to be at his mansion. We need you to walk down these halls so we can video you.
I'd be like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Send a car. Anyway, so she's agreeing for more money, and she gets dressed in the maid costume, and Cyrus is letting her know, say this, do this, not that way, a little more like this, and it doesn't work. He gets fed up very easily, quickly, and she says, you know what, I think that you were just so in love with her, and you're just going to have to meet someone else you're just as in love with, and then this problem will straighten itself out.
Yeah, sometimes the fish people are so wise.
It's weird because,
very nice.
Well, to me in this episode, Cyrus was a much more sedate, calm, disappointed Cyrus, which I feel like we get two of those. We get that guy, and I consider that guy also like drunk Cyrus. And then also we get like crazy, mean, vindictive, Cyrus. So he was like the low-key, more comedic Cyrus this week, which kind of eased him right into being disappointed about his life, disappointed about being ready to lose the crown, disappointed about Violet being gone forever. So you do almost feel bad for him in this episode. It's amazing how they can write him from week to week.
It is amazing.
Two completely different people, really.
I don't know how they do it because he's such an awful character.
Yeah.
But the writing, the music, the acting, he is an amazing actor. It's amazing how they do it.
It really.
How they make me. How they.
Yeah.
It always amazes me how like. You know, like you hate someone. You're always like, I hate that actor because I hate the character. Like, no, that's a good actor who acted so well they made you hate him.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he has me all over the charts.
Oh my gosh, you know what I want to tell you? Speaking of doing red carpets, I fell in love with James Franco on Saturday night. I did the red carpet for Why Him. And
your snaps are amazing. Follow Megan on Snapchat.
Oh my God, do you know it's so disappointing? So my phone needs that new update where the batteries are all dying all the time. And Apple is like giving you a new battery for free. But I haven't had time to go to the Apple store. And my phone died on the red carpet before I could take any good photos or videos or anything. So sorry, guys, it wasn't.
In Snapchat,
there.
you do one video and your battery. I feel like my battery's gone. Yeah, it's
I know.
worse.
So my battery was plenty fine, and it just shut down when I tried to use my camera on Snapchat.
Annoying.
So anyway, he is a really hot guy. He has an amazing smile, and he just like exudes a lot of energy. And I was like very excited to meet him.
He's adorable. I love him.
He was so cute. Anyhow. Fun sidebar. So back into the story. Jasper goes to Mr. James Hill, which reveals to us as the viewers, which we didn't know, that the letter he originally wrote to Eleanor, it was so amazing. It was written by Mr. Hill.
I love it.
Wasn't that hilarious?
Love this storyline. I thought it was hilarious, and I loved every second of it.
Me too. Especially because we didn't have to wait for it to go back and forth. Eleanor walks in and busts them as soon as this is revealed to us. And I knew, before anything else even happened, I knew that she was going to pretend that she was so mad and disappointed and hold it over his head and pretend that she hadn't done the same thing.
Right.
Lucky for us, she gets busted right then too. So we're not waiting. We're not going back and forth. It's not another week of her holding something over Jasper. This was the cutest thing to me.
Adorable.
I thought so cute.
I loved it. I loved when Jasper was like, you can't write that. It's too, he was like directing him. It was just great banter back and forth. I loved it.
Me too. When Mr. Hill leaves them alone by escorting his daughter out of the room back to where she might be, this girl needs a nanny.
She really does. There's no royal nanny.
They argue over not being able to express themselves to each other in letter form. And Eleanor says, maybe we don't get each other like I thought we did.
Right.
Another disappointment in the
No, I know. This is one of those things where it's like, just because you can't write love letters to each other means nothing. As long as you're in a loving relationship and you know how each other feels about each other, don't read so much into it.
No, it might not be their medium.
Right, exactly.
It's like my boyfriend and I used to obsessively, what was the big messaging thing at the time when we started dating? This is 100 years ago. I think it was just the messenger. G-chat. Is that what it was called? When Gmail had that chatting room, you would click on someone who's
side.
you would. It was almost like AOL Messenger, and we would just talk back and forth all day long while we were at work until we were together right after work. It was obsessive. I mean, and we would say such nice things to each other and about each other all day long. Yeah, that was our medium.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be love letters. People read too much into things.
That's true. I think they both are reading too much into this.
Exactly.
Willow. So this is an exciting story development. I'm kind of nervous for the future, I have to say. Willow pays a visit to Liam's room, and just like one of our ladies said last week, I don't know if it was Sam or Allie, said last week that they thought Willow really likes Liam.
Yeah.
And it's going to become an issue.
Yeah.
And we get to see right here that for her, it's an issue.
They have hooked up before, right? Wasn't she in his bed? And then he forgot about her?
I don't think so. I think she's always been the friend.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think so.
I might be remembering.
So this week is really the first time she's showing romantic.
Yeah. I kind of always thought she liked him.
She always put herself in the friend zone, is what I want to say about her.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't like he put her in the friend zone as much as she put herself there. She never asserted that she liked him until now. All of a sudden, we as viewers can tell, and he has no idea.
Right.
So she pays him a visit in his room. He says something. He has something he's been meaning to ask her. He's very excited. He said he wants to start a charity for wounded vets, and she's let down. So this is the first time we see an actor's reaction, letting us know she's disappointed. She thought, "Ask away, ask me anything." he said he wants to honor Robert by doing this charity. And he brings up his friend Charlie Madden, who we remember from... I was like, why are we just randomly throwing out a name
You
last
knew
week?
it. You said, I think he's going to come back.
Yeah. So he had told Charlie to ask out Willow. So she's again disappointed. He said, give him a chance. So she's not only pissed that he's not picking up on her vibes, he's also saying, give my buddy a chance. I think you'd really like him. Don't you
Salt
feel
in the
terrible?
wound.
I know. She's also a little bit offended by the queen defending the reality show prince because he says something about, saying they have to have a higher standard as a royal. And she takes it personal and kind of gives a face.
That face. I felt bad for her.
I did too.
Yeah.
They are interrupted by the paternity results coming in. And that's when the Lord Chamberlain says, this is why people watch this rubbish, to really just forget about their problems. And the queen, so then we go to commercial break. Dun, dun, dun. The queen meets with the twins and tells them Simon is their father. So we've been waiting to know this for how long?
Ever.
Did they
Since the
start?
end of last,
When
since
did
the end
they-
of season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was when they pulled the whole, they're not
Illegitimate,
actually not. Okay. End of season 1. God, we've been
So
waiting so
Helena
long.
has taken a whole arc of going from on Cyrus's level of evil to wanting her children just to be happy.
It's true. But she still wants them to stay royal and stay in that house because she really is trying to set up Liam to be king, which still ultimately gets her to her goal of staying in that house.
Right. So she and Cyrus did this whole scheming so they could have power, and then she turned on Cyrus and tried to get power for herself. And now she wants Liam to have it.
Yeah.
But just, so that they stay in the house, they don't abolish the monarchy. Because that was the issue, too.
Yeah, I think she thought that Liam couldn't handle it, and I don't think Liam wanted any part of being king.
And he was
back
saying
then.
he wants to do what his father wants,
Yes.
which was to abolish the monarchy. Okay.
Yes, that's true. Nobody was on board for staying in the
Right.
in the castle.
Right.
But you know what? Liam takes it really well and's like, I get why you did it. It's cool. Eleanor is on board too. She curtsied to her brother, which I thought was
So
the
cute.
cutest little weirdest looking thing. I was like, oh, she's never done that. She's so
Yeah.
badass. It was really sweet. It made me tear up a little.
I know.
Willow again meets up with Liam and congratulates him on the paternity test results, but she gets really embarrassed when she discovers he's dating someone because she jokes, where are you off to? A hot date. We need to celebrate. And he kind of just smiles, which lets her know, yes, I am off to a hot date. And then she furiously starts texting. So now I have this terrible pit in my stomach about her.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, because Because
Because it wasn't revealed at all throughout the rest of the
Yeah.
episode what she could possibly be texting about.
Right.
Or I don't know if she's writing herself a note or tweeting or what.
Oh, I hope Willow doesn't turn out to be a Ted, but she could.
I know. She could.
She could.
I mean,
the
that's
show
the problem.
that's the show.
That's the problem with all of these characters.
You keep us guessing.
So, yes, Willow has me very nervous for the next time we see her. Jasper finds Sarah Alice hanging out in Eleanor's room again, which she is not supposed to be there. And he sits down with her. She's still really stuck on, I don't think Eleanor's a real princess. So he has a really sweet talk with her, going over all the reasons she is a real princess. What were some of the things he was saying other than, she doesn't need protection? And
She was like, princesses should dance and sing and look pretty for the ball and wait to be rescued. And he says, I've seen her dance and sing, and she always looks pretty, but she doesn't need to be rescued. And I think that was it. Yeah, it was really good.
It was the sweetest.
And she got to overhear, thank God.
Thank God. So she overhears, and it was all she needed to hear from Jasper. She doesn't need to worry about a love letter that he's having trouble writing. She heard everything she needs to hear. So we finally get them back together. She's so excited by what she heard, she tears his clothes off.
They're so hot.
It was so hot.
Oh my God.
I can't with them. Oh God. To have a love like Jaspanor.
I love following them on Instagram. They're so
I
they
know.
have amazing chemistry. On screen, it's insane. But even in pictures, they're so cute. I hope they get together.
What's so weird is, like, I've always followed celebrity and pop culture and been obsessed with it. And I always would be like, why don't people just admit their personal life? You can tell anyway, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, even if they are dating in real life, I'm so excited that they keep it private.
Yes.
Because it's more exciting to me to not know. And it's probably also better for the show that they do keep it private so that the world doesn't come in and ruin it.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I think it's so hot. I hope they are secretly love-alls.
I hope so too. They have to be.
Let's see, where am I? Oh, so the queen visits Cyrus in his... Oh, actually, I think he's in the throne room. And he... Or no, is it his bedroom at this point?
I don't know. They all look the same to me. They're all so, like, plush and, like, I don't know.
He may have still been in his bedroom at this point. The queen visits him to tell him about the paternity test results. And it's going to be his last night as king. But, you know, he wasn't angry, crazy Cyrus. He was sad, quiet Cyrus.
And he said that line... where he said, wait, what did he say? I hope you feel it someday, you know, that loss. And she
I knew, before she said it, I was like, she's going to whip around and name I thought she was going to only say Simon, but she led with Alistair, which was
her true love.
Simon and then Robert. So I was like, yes, booyah. Booyah.
And I love how she, even before that, I love when Elizabeth Hurley tells someone off. Her lines are so good. Her, like, physical, like when she dropped the testicle on the tray. I just love when she tells people they have good back and forth because they hate each other, and it's great. Yeah.
No, it's excellent. Jasper, we were flashing around at the end. It was a bit of a montage. It was all overlaid to some sweet, sad, slow music. And Jasper gets out of bed after they've slept together to write her a note. So I think the words are flowing now. And Cyrus goes to the throne room, sits on one of the thrones, and cries, looking at Violet's locket. I'm wondering if that's a tease, if she'll show up again.
Right. That's what I have. I have so many open questions, even though we got a lot answered. Thank you very much. But there's so many open questions. Like, there are all of these bodies out there that no one is accounting for. Like, Violet's family's not, like, the last place she was seen in this world was the palace. And Dominique Stewart's not, like, where's my father? The last place he was seen was the palace. There's too many dead bodies to explain.
Cyrus's baby and the baby mama are missing.
Where'd they go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Violet's dead.
I know. So where's the body? How'd they cover it up?
I'm like sitting here thinking she's Prudence, but no, Prudence is alive and gone, and Violet's dead.
Right.
Duh, Megan. Sorry, it's so much to keep up
with. No, but
with.
even Prudence, like, she's not going to pop up again and be like, I don't know. Who knows?
I hope she does.
I hope she does too.
That's so wild.
I know.
Yeah, because I was just thinking now, what way could he get the throne back or give it to his son or whatever? But now that they've proven paternity, I guess he can't.
I don't know. He would have to knock off. I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's a long line of evil. We flash to Catherine remembering Robert telling her he's going to leave for training camp, and we talked a little bit earlier about her saying, "What do you want?" They're interrupted by Liam, who then sweetly takes a photo of them. So she does have a photo of them. When we flash back to real time, her staring at the photo, she hides it for Liam to come over.
Right.
Which I think tells us she's burying Robert in her heart. Yes. It's like, you know what, I really like Liam, so let's put this away. He, at the door, is freaking out. He's like, I was pretending I was all gung-ho, but he's freaking out. I don't even know what to think about this, because we know Robert's coming back in a couple minutes.
God. Right. But he was so, like, excited. Like, you have that one special person that you can't wait to tell. And it's so sad that Willow's like, let's go celebrate, but he's going to celebrate with the one he wants to celebrate with. But yeah, he was like, it was like so nervous energy, like, I can't believe this, and yeah.
What did you think he said when he meant when he said everything's going to change for us? Because she said everything's going to change for you, and he said no, for us.
I think he meant you're it. Like, I'm in love with you. I don't care that you're not royal or aristocrat or whatever. Like, we're going to be together, which raises the stakes because...
So you think he had every intention of dragging her out into the public eye to say, this is my girlfriend.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. She's not a royal.
Completely.
Even though
because
he's gonna
if he
try to
was
be
like,
king.
let's see where it goes, and Robert comes back, it would be like, okay, it's soon enough that like I could let you guys get back together because we were only just starting the relationship. But because he's like, I'm in it for the long haul. I want the world to know I love you. And then Robert comes back, it makes it so much more dramatic. The stakes are raised.
Okay.
So I think that's why they did it. And yeah, I think the character loves her and is like, this is it. It was love at first sight for him.
Okay.
But his brother swooped in.
Man, swooped in on the sparrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Eleanor reads a secret letter from Jasper that he hid in that book for her that we saw him writing. The queen catches her being happy and says when she apologized, you know, my apology was also to you, not just to Liam for thinking that he wasn't ready to be king. And Eleanor said she's pretending that that the queen never slept with Jasper. So can the queen please also pretend the same thing? Mm-hmm. Fair question.
Fair. That bothered me so much last season to the point where I was like, I think it's going to be revealed, and I still hope it is, that they never slept together because it's such a deal breaker. It's so disgusting that I think he incapacitated the queen and like left something there to make her think that they had sex, but they never really did because it's so gross.
Didn't he kept claiming last season that they didn't actually have sex, but he had to like service her, shall we call it?
It's still equally gross, but I feel like he did say some things where I was like, I think I might be right because he like alluded a couple of times to like, it's not what you think.
Yeah. This is so wild because if you think about Jasper, first of all, did the whole blackmail thing the night they met. Like roofied her like the night they met.
Right.
And then was trying to blackmail her. And then they were sleeping together during that. And then she finds out in season 2 that this whole time he was trying to like diamond heist them. And he also slept with her mom before that happened. It's like, and she forgave him for all of that?
Seriously. She must really like him.
It's a good thing they have good chemistry because I wouldn't really buy it from a lot of actors that somebody could get over that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if it were different actors, I would be like, I'm not buying this storyline. You're so right.
I agree. Eleanor said a really sweet line, which is not very Eleanor-like. She said, well, I know what it's like to get my father back, so you should know what it's like to get your children back.
Yes.
Which I thought was really sweet.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, the happy moment can't last too long. The queen, I was like, as soon as they hugged and said, I love you, I was like, this is out of control. Everything's about to be too good, which, of course, lasted for 2 whole seconds. As the queen bounced down the hall, I always notice Elizabeth Hurley's, I don't know, what you call someone's
She does have a
walk.
bounce.
There's always like a tiny bounce, but I guess as her character, she was trying to show that she was so happy and optimistic that her bounce was so large when she took each step. And I was like, oh my, look at her bouncing along there.
Yes.
She's so happy. And then we see Robert straight off the ship standing in the hallway, which it kind of was disappointing because obviously they would have gotten a call the second he was picked up.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be this big secret thing, but maybe they'll have some kind of like
I hope they have a really good explanation
for
because
why.
that is ridiculous. For a million reasons, because you'd want them to know as soon as possible that you're alive and like your heartache, you know, it's the worst thing that can happen to a human. Right. You want your mother to know your child's alive as soon as possible, and you don't want to give anyone a heart attack. It's a little ridiculous, but I guess that's why we love the show.
Exactly. I know. I'm thinking about how my mom would have such a problem with this because her brother did pass away when she was 17. Ugh. So she always hated movies where like the dead person would show back up, or you would see the dead person as a ghost. Like she's like, I wish that would have happened to me. You know.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, you could definitely, I think, give someone a heart attack showing back up when they thought you were dead for 8 or 9 months, whatever the story was.
And he got into the palace somehow. So they knew.
Well, he had to be dropped off by. So maybe Mr. Hill let him in. Let's talk about what we think the repercussions are of Robert showing back up. What were your first thoughts?
Okay, I first thought of Catherine. This is going to be like such a, it's so hard because it's going to be such a happy event that their loved one is alive, but it's going to cause so much turmoil in terms of, especially for Liam. He's going to lose Catherine. He's going to lose being the king. He's going to go back to who he was 8 or 9 months ago. And Robert is going to find out that his brother's with his love, who he's the only reason he wanted to come back. And his father died. And he was betrayed by Ted, who he's probably known his whole life. Mm-hmm. There's so much to catch up on, as Cyrus says.
I agree. That was hilarious in the preview for the rest of the season.
So I think it causes, mainly between Robert and Liam, mainly for Liam, is going to have the most repercussions.
I feel like maybe they're not showing it to us in the promo that aired at the end, which looks like it's, I don't know how many episodes worth of material they were showing us, but it seemed like maybe it could get us to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all about Liam versus Robert, mm-hmm. because at this point it's like, well, Liam's supposed to step back and let Robert be the heir again, and it's going to be so sticky with how does he deal with the Catherine thing, mm-hmm. because he's not going to want to give her up this time.
No.
And how do you tell your brother, like, I'm sleeping with her as of, 3 days ago?
Right. But they thought he was gone.
I know.
It's so hard. You can see from both sides.
Yeah. When she says in the preview, I'm not feeling so well, when she flips around and sees him, which that's effed up on Liam's part. How do you not text her and say, Robert's not dead and he wants to come see you?
FYI. Exactly. You could give her, she could faint like Eleanor faints and hit her head, God forbid.
Right. I mean, this show, they
push
throw
it, but we love it.
They do push it. Any other predictions for the rest of this season?
I just want answers on all the dead people. On how, I want more reaction to Ted. What happened with Ted? Just something more on the Stewart family and more on where Violet's body is. Yeah,
the Stewart family could come popping out of the woodwork
anytime.
Like we're exposing you again.
And who shot Robert's plane down? Probably Cyrus, because it was a call from inside the palace. Oh, yeah. We have yet to uncover that. I would love to know that. Right? Yeah. Oh, my God. It's going to be so good. Just when you think it can't get any better. It's really good. It's going to be so good. What did you make of the Christmas video we were treated to at the end of the show? I was like, what is going on? But I loved it. I was like, this show is so irreverent. Like, they just have fun. Yes. And it was kind of like I felt like it was like a thank you card to the viewers. Like, thank you for sticking with us. We obviously got a big budget this year, and it's all because you watched, and thank you. I loved it. That must be exactly what it was. Right? It was like, Merry Christmas. We'll be off next week, but we'll see you in the new year. Yeah. It was phenomenally shot. They did beautiful makeup and lighting, different than normal. Everyone was dressed up. It was a bit old Hollywood to me, the hair and makeup that everyone had. Mm-hmm. And how Cyrus looked like he was made up like Scrooge from an old school version of Christmas Carol. Yeah, it was hilarious and really great good. All the same. Eleanor as the star of this. I love that she was the star because she's the star. Yeah, and the rolling around choreography with Jasper and the dancing. I was like, wait, can you see that if it's a stunt person or then it's fantastic. It was, really intricate. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long it took them to film that. I know. So fun. You never know what to expect from the show. It's really good. Well, thank you so much for listening. And if you're listening on the way home to any holiday plans, happy holidays. We can't wait to be back in the new year. The first episode back, they will air on January 1st. So we will be here for you on January 2nd. Yep. Fern, where can they find you online? You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Fern Ronay, Ronay, and my website, fernronay.com, and wishing everyone a happy, healthy, wonderful 2017.
Yes, me too, because I'm a little worried about 2017.
Yeah, I can't lie.
Well, say your prayers, guys. Guys, it's Megan. You can follow me on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. And love tweeting the most out of everything. So talk to me on there. Everything's at Megan Stecher. It's MEGANSTECHER. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Have a lovely time with your family and great time off and great vacations. And be safe and Happy New Year. And we'll see you next year. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.